Ladies and gentlemen, how's it going? My name is Icy and welcome back to the Pandaria Beta. Today, I want to talk about my experience so far in the Temple of the Jade Serpent, one of the firstly announced dungeons of this upcoming expansion. It is currently playable in the beta, as you can see, and it is located in the eastern heart of the Jade Forest, one of the entry zones for the continent of Pandaria. And so for this dungeon, I decided that I would run as a feral tank druid because 45 minutes is way too long for me to wait to get into a dungeon, to be honest. So I got in here in a matter of seconds, and tanking was a rather easy job. I have to be honest, the monsters were rather weak. Avoiding the puddles on the ground was a relatively easy job. I mean, this dungeon shouldn't be too hard to complete. And the first boss was really easy. He was, I don't know, I thought it was kind of a joke, to be honest. And we did get a piece of loot from that boss. Unfortunately, the monsters don't drop anything, so you won't get anything from the dungeon except that, bag of gold and maybe an item like from the boss looting, but otherwise you won't get much from this dungeon except for the experience, right? The experience, the most primordial thing in the beta. So why are we playing the beta? Because we want to give feedback to the developers and bring them improvement for this, for this game. So we wouldn't want to disappoint them by not telling them anything. So yes, again, the dungeon was really easy and it is visually appealing. It is sublime, it is appealing, and I don't have anything negative to say about it except for, I think there is a lack of monsters. I don't think there are enough, heroic monsters around. But again, this is beta. Beta is beta, and they might improve things, so I expect improvement from the developers. And so the first boss dungeon of this dungeon. Wow, I said dungeon twice, didn't I? But the first boss of this dungeon is called Wise Maori, which is a fish-like humanoid that attacks with a bunch of water elemental attacks. And the fight for this boss is divided into two phases. The first phase is called Still Waters Rise Up. So you will want to avoid the waters on the ground because they will damage you, because the boss will corrupt the waters around him, and so you have to avoid wherever you're, you have to be careful where you're standing. The waters in the ground, and the waters that are flowing in the waterfall fountain, you don't want to be standing in there, because if you do, then you'll get damage for sure. And then for the first phase also, you can't be attacking the boss directly. You have to kill its additional monsters. Because the first phase is basically like killing other monsters. You can't, focus on the boss because he is immune to all physical and spell attacks. So you can't really do anything. You have to kill the monsters that, come up from out of nowhere. And he also does an attack called Hydro Lance, and which directly attacks you with a fountain of corrupted water. And then you have like a bunch of elementals coming up out of nowhere, and you have to kill these. And the big elemental will want to split into 4 other elementals or 3 small elementals, but you have to kill them all successfully. And again, it is an easy job. You shouldn't have any problem killing these. Once you're done with that first phase, you move on to the second phase, which is rather easy as well. All you do is, again, avoid the waters around him, and you can't be in melee range with the boss. You can't attack him from nearby from 1 yard because, he has this water around here, his aura of water, which will damage you constantly. So all you have to do is basically attack him from a ranged distance. So you will want to have spell damagers, hunters, or maybe, I don't know, rogues with their ninja stars or crossbows. But I didn't enjoy myself in this fight. I couldn't enjoy myself because I didn't do much except for tanking I didn't do much tanking because I couldn't do anything against the boss since I wasn't allowed to go nearby him, so because of the water that was surrounding him, right? So on the second phase, he also does an attack called, what is it? Wash Away. The boss channels a barrage of water, and he will do it in a clockwise manner. So there's like a stream of water that will shoot out of his hands that will turn clockwise, and you will want to constantly move around to be avoiding that burst of water, but you can still attack from a ranged distance. So this boss overall was a little bit too long, I have to say. I think Blizzard should change a little bit for this fight. modify it a little bit to make it more interactive and, you know, make it an enjoyable experience for melee attackers and tanks as well. But overall, this fight was easy, and it was kind of long, too long for my taste. I think it was like 5-6 minutes long. It wasn't too dreadful. I did like the various mechanics for this fight, but yeah, that was pretty much it for this fight. And then after completing this fight, there was a piece of plate gear that dropped. Yeah, I couldn't wear it. I didn't get that item because I know, yes, I can only wear leather, unfortunately, and that piece of gear wasn't used, I think, by anyone, so that was kind of sad. But after doing this boss fight, we moved on and tried to do the second boss, which was kind of a failure because the second boss fight needed a lot of communication, and again, the beta is beta. You can't have people interacting between themselves too much because, you know, you don't know anyone, everyone's a stranger, you're not in a guild, and you can join guilds, by the way, in the beta, but the thing is, like, almost 80% of the people in the beta don't want to, you know, be part of a guild because, you know, we're just testing stuff, we're not really committing to anything, right? But again, this fight was pretty easy, and after doing the first fight, we moved on to a couple more, you know, places in the dungeon. And again, the groups of mobs were easy to kill. You shouldn't have any problems killing them, but I think it needs some improvement. But that was it, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and next time I'll try to maybe talk about the next bosses. But yeah, that was it for the first boss. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.